Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 11th Tulsa Law Review Legal Scholarship Symposium, an event we've all been looking forward to for quite some time now. My name is Rachel Hughes, and I am Editor-in-Chief of the Tulsa Law Review. On behalf of the Tulsa Law Review and the University of Tulsa College of Law, I want to thank you all for coming today to our Fall 2012 Symposium, Not Your Father's Federalism, in which we will be honoring the work of Professor Heather Gerken, the J. Skelly Wright Professor of Law at Yale Law School. I think we've assembled a very impressive group of legal expert scholars in the field of federalism to honor Professor Gerken's scholarly achievements. We are excited to have Professor Gerken with us and look forward to today's discussions. It is my privilege to introduce Dean Tamara Piety this morning. Tamara Piety, Associate Dean of Faculty Development and Professor of Law, is a nationally recognized legal scholar on the legal treatment of commercial and corporate speech. She is widely published in legal journals such as the Michigan Law Review, First Impressions, Case Western Reserve Law Review, the Cardozo Law Review, the Temple Law Review, the Seattle Law Review, and others. Dean Piety's book, Brandishing the First Amendment, Critiquing the Recent Jurisprudence on Commercial and Corporate Speech, was published this past February by the University of Michigan Press. She has spoken on this topic before the Federal Trade Commission and at numerous conferences and events nationally and internationally. Dean Piety is an experienced former litigator who teaches a range of litigation-related subjects including evidence, scientific evidence, and law and mind sciences. She earned her bachelor's degree in economics from Florida International University, her JD from the University of Miami School of Law, and her LLM from Harvard Law School. Please welcome Dean Tamara Piety.
Thank you, Rachel. Good morning, everybody. It's really a pleasure to welcome all of you here. I am Associate Dean for Faculty Development, and so I usually get to be involved in these sorts of things. But ordinarily, my dear friend, Dean Janet Leavitt, would be doing the welcoming of all of you here. But she has found out that she's going to be getting an award from the Oklahoma Bar Association to recognize distinguished women in the law, and so she cannot be here today. So it's my privilege to welcome the distinguished guests. We are here to honor Professor Gerken, who has long been someone that Dean Leavitt has admired, and so I know that Dean Leavitt is sorry that she's not able to be here and wants to send her warmest welcome and wishes for all of our distinguished speakers. I've been asked to introduce or welcome you to the 11th annual, I was trying to figure out what number is this? The 11th annual Tulsa Law Review Legal Symposium. I have been here 11 years, so I think it's been since I've been here that we've been doing this, and we've had an enormous number of really wonderful people here. It's our major academic event every year and the signature event for the Law Review. The students usually choose a person to honor, and then they do a tremendous job researching and putting together the program, and it is actually a pretty daunting process to put together this program. So I want to recognize all of them and say what a great job that you've done, and what a great job I'm sure you will be doing in putting that together. I'm sure that the essays that emerge from this symposium will be great, and I'm looking forward to reading them. Also, the wonderful work of our administrative captain who organizes all of this, Barbette Veit. She's an amazing person who organizes all of the travel and all of the sort of gifts and whatnot in your package. So I want to thank her as well. Now turning to our symposium and the reason that we're here this morning, we're here to recognize the work of Professor Heather Gerken, the J. Skelly Wright Professor of Law and recognized expert in election law and constitutional law. She will be formally introduced later, and throughout the day you'll hear people talking about her scholarship. But I just want to say I've wanted to meet her for a very long time. I've heard so much about her work, and I'm really excited about this. I don't know that this had any influence on the review's choice, but I really thought this would be a good one to do at this time in this election year. So I think the program is going to be terrific. I should note that this is typically sort of a Festschrift, that is a celebration for someone who is closer to the culmination of their career, and in this case, this is not at all the case.
We're hoping.
Yeah, yes, hopefully not. So I think if this is more like a discussion that Heather is going to lead us in from the vantage point of being one of the most dynamic and innovative and creative scholars in this area at this really interesting and important time. We have two panel discussions this morning, and in the afternoon followed a third one in the afternoon, followed by responses and comments, and Professor Gherkin is going to be talking at 3:30. And we are delighted to have welcomed such a distinguished group to Tulsa, and we hope that we will get a chance to show off a little bit of the University of Tulsa to you, and all of you will be introduced a little more fully later, but I just wanted to make a couple of observations. This panel is a little bit like old home week for the University of Texas. So we have two current Texas faculty, Sandy Levison and Gerald Torres, and one former Texas faculty member, Ernie Young. We are very fortunate to have Sandy Levinson here, who has practically made Tulsa his third home away from home after Harvard and Yale and then Tulsa, because he has come to a number of these events. That's four or five in the course of my time being here, and has also been really instrumental in helping the Tulsa Law Review put together a book review issue for a number of years, and that's been really terrific. Also, my dear Gerald Torres, who was not originally part of this program, but when he saw how many of his friends and colleagues were going to be involved in it and the subject matter that he wanted to get involved in, so he's going to be a particularly distinguished moderator rather than a presenter. Professor Torres, I might also add at this time, is a board chair of Advancement Project, which is getting a lot of press these days, finally, long overdue, recognizing its work in challenging the voter suppression laws that have been passed in a number of states, Ohio, Florida, and elsewhere. So it was a very distinguished moderator for that panel, and we're looking forward to that. At this time, I want to introduce my colleague, Sam Hallaby, who's the moderator of the first panel, whose discussion focuses on federalism. Professor Hallaby is an assistant professor at the University of Tulsa, and it is a pleasure to have him as a colleague. Our work overlaps quite a bit in areas that his work is really interesting to me. Professor Hallaby's scholarly work focuses on national and international public health lawmaking, as well as judicial management of treaties and customary international law. He's a member of the American Law and Economics Association. Professor Hallaby's scholarship focuses on market-based causes and solutions to public health problems. His scholarship has recently explored the ways in which both state and federal judges manage U.S. treaty obligations. He's a graduate of Harvard Law School and was served as a fellow at the O'Neill Institute for National and Global Health Law at Georgetown University, researching the formation and implementation of international legal instruments regulating health policies of governments and business. In 2008, he advised the Presidential Healthcare Policy Working Group on current and proposed approaches to international food and drug inspections. And in 2010, Professor Hallaby addressed a special committee of the United Nations on the relationship between decentralized healthcare systems and social inclusion, as well as the UN Committee on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women on Egypt's compliance with the World Health Organization's Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. He's a member of the editorial board of the Food and Drug Law Journal, as well as a referee for Journal of Global Public Health and Health and Human Rights.